Hello, I hope you're doing well. This morning I saw a clip from a dating show, and on the dating show, basically people come out and they have balloons. And so if you don't like the person, or you don't like how they look, you don't like how they present themselves, what they say, you pop the balloon. And so the point, I guess, is to figure out the person who doesn't pop the balloon, and so that those two people can date each other. Either way, it's a humiliating show. And I tweeted about it, and I was like, this is not clever. This is not interesting. This is not creative. It's just straight up mean and silly. And it really grieves me because I feel like there's so much content out today. There's so many videos, so much potential for creative endeavors, and people choose to be cruel to each other. Like, with all this technology, all these opportunities, people want to humiliate people. Like, people are really mean, and we're in this mean time. I don't know if people were nicer before, but I think with like technology and seeing the inner workings of people's minds, people saying things that they would never say to a person to their face, saying things online, doing things online. And then the men who are popping the balloons are this beautiful woman, by the way. The men who are popping these balloons, right? They were looking to each other, like trying to impress each other to pop the balloons. Almost like, you know, when kids on a playground, they be joning on each other. We call it joning, or like, you know, they say like playing the dozens, right? And it's almost like this banter, witty banter back and forth. It's a cultural thing, right? But there's a group of bullies who sit on the side and just make fun of people who are vulnerable, right? And they all like get a high, have fun tearing people down. I never understood people like that. Making fun of people is not funny to me. Like, destroying people's self-esteem is not funny to me. Like, tearing them down to nothing is not entertaining to me. So even with that popping the balloon show, I can't watch the whole thing. Like, I can't watch it. I'll see clips of it and it pisses me off. It enrages me. What pisses me off more is not the people who go on the show. I'm gonna be honest. A lot of people are like blaming the people. Why would you go on there to humiliate yourself? I mean, sure, right? But why do they go on that show? Because they're looking for approval. They're looking to be liked. Women are raised from birth to care about being liked. More than anything else in the whole wide world, women have been trained to be liked, to be approved of, to be wanted, as if being wanted is like the answer to all of our problems. If you're wanted, you're safe. If you're wanted, you're valued, because we know how men treat women who are not valuable to them. We know that, right? So I'm not faulting the people who are going on these shows. I don't think they should go, by the way, but I'm not faulting them for going on these shows looking for love or looking for potential suitors or whatever, right? I fault the people who created the system in the first place. I fault the people who created, like, what kind of person do you have to be like, let me make a show to humiliate men and women and leave them with lower self-esteem and self-worth than they came in with. Like, that's what we're using our creativity for. Not to empower people, not to fight for what is right, not to uplift people and enrich them and tell them how beautiful they are, not for anything loving or kind. But the first thing y'all think of to be creative is to be destructive. Instead of being creative and building something, you want to destroy something. Like, we have an empathy and a kindness problem, and it grieves me. It makes me so upset, and it pushes me to extend further grace, to be even kinder, right? Even more kind, right? Like, it's so, like, this place is so evil. And I think that Twitter, you know, especially Twitter, oh my gosh, Twitter can be, or X now, Twitter can be such a cesspool, right? I'm so glad that I follow people who are about love, like a love ethic, who are about encouraging and loving other people, getting free, loving Black women, loving themselves, loving their community, right? Like, I'm glad that I follow people like that. But sometimes something will slip into either the For You section, or people that I follow might comment on something that's been evil, and so I'll see it and I'll lose myself in the thread. I'll go in the thread and I'm just like so disappointed, and I'm there for hours, just like seeing the inky, nasty depths of people's heart, seeing how evil people really are and how people really feast on the destruction of other people. People are cannibals online. Like, they enjoy consuming the flesh of other people, and they're rewarded for it. So just like this popping the balloon show, right? Like, they make money They make money from destroying people. They make money. They get attention. These men who go on those platforms to destroy women get followers. And like, then I've been watching Love is Blind, and that whole thing has been, I finished now, but that whole thing has been an emotional roller coaster for me. Like, Netflix is profiting off of the exploitation of people's insecurities and traumas. Like, trauma, pain, violence makes billions of dollars. Billions of dollars. What is rewarded here is evil. What is rewarded here is violence, right? And it could seem like when you're trying to do something good, and I felt this, and I don't know if anybody else has felt this way. I'm sure they have, right? It's so annoying because all you want to do is love people. All you want to do is create goodness to uplift people. But the things that get the most clicks, right? The things that get the most views, the things that are pushing the algorithm are evil things. You know, I did a Google search or YouTube search to, you know, black women. Videos upon videos upon videos. I'm thinking I'm going to find black women talking about black women, talking to black women, talking good about black women. No. The first things that come up in my thing, black women are too masculine. Why modern black women won't have, like, blah, blah, like just all this negative stuff. And I'm just like, grieved is not the word. Like, I'm running out of words. The English language is so limited and so, like, literal. I don't know even know what to say. Like, angry is not the word. Grieved is not the word. Right? Like, disappointed is not the word. Sometimes hopeless can be the word. Like, you're trying to do good. You're trying to bring goodness out of people and remind them of their goodness and their humanity, right? Because the world has caused us to become these caustic, like, mean, harmful individuals because we think that by harming other people, it will stop us from being harmed, right? We always say, like, oh, this is a dog eat dog world. I reject that. It's not a dog eat dog world, right? Like, but it has been created. Like, we've been put into a container. Like, you know how back in the day, like during the Roman Empire, they would have these, like, they would sit in these big auditoriums, or not auditoriums, but y'all know what I'm trying to say. And they would watch people fight to the death for entertainment. That's exactly what's happening. We have a kindness problem. We have an empathy problem. We have an uncaring problem, right? We have like an evil problem. And it's evil to me. It will always be evil if you are celebrating the destruction of other people. And I'm not judging people who do this, but I can't watch things. I can't watch boxing. I'm not going to watch it. I can't watch UFC stuff. I can't watch WWE stuff. Like, I don't want to watch violent movies. I'm not interested because that stuff is not entertaining to me. People get shot every day in real life. And I feel like these movies and these shows are like making us desensitized to the real world, because even with those popping the balloon shows, right? Like, those are real people. They're not characters. I think the problem with these screens, and I'm holding my phone, but the problem with these screens is that we forget that there's somebody's soul on the other side of that username. There's somebody's soul on the other side of that screen. You feel me? And we're just like we're sim characters, or like we're, you know, these are just like avatars of people. These are real people with real feelings. Why we don't care, I don't, like, what is going on? What is going on? And I've been journaling and thinking a lot about, like, kindness and how kindness is so hard to find nowadays. You know what I mean? And I don't want to say that as an affirmation, but it's true, right? Like, kindness can be so hard to find. Like, just generosity, just general care and empathy. Like, people have forgotten how to empathize. People have forgotten how to be human. People with all this stuff, all this violence, all these things going on around us, right? People have forgotten how to be human. To be empathetic is to be human. Humans were designed and wired to feel for other people because we see other people as other people. In order to harm other people, you have to dehumanize them, because it is not natural for another human to harm their own species. Any other species, right? Like, they might fight over like territory or whatever, but it is unnatural for one species to harm its like. A lot of animals work together. A lot of plants and trees work together. The environment works together. But like, humans are the ones We're so evolved, right? That we want to dehumanize other people and see them as less than, because you have to see them as less than to treat them horribly. You cannot see them as your kin. You cannot see other individuals as your kin or as human beings, as something like you, and hurt them. You have to dehumanize them. You have to say, like, oh, you have to rationalize in your mind why it's okay to harm this person. Why it's okay to talk bad about this person. Because it's not natural. It's not natural. To me, like, I'm shaking because I'm so frustrated. I'm so sick and tired of Black women being the butt of the joke. I'm so sick and tired of Black men being lazy and punching down on Black women because it's easy for them. I'm sick of it. It's tired. It's exhausting. Like, and sometimes, like I said, I can feel hopeless because I don't know what to do about it. I can't do anything except show up here and try my best to be loving and kind and gracious and understanding. But it doesn't mean that I have to entertain mean people. So long story short, there was another thread on Twitter that I found. And basically this woman was asking men, Black men specifically, to step up and to care about the little boys in the community. Like, hey, you know, can you do us a favor and like mentor these boys, right? And there were a few responses that were kind and like, yes, absolutely, we out here doing it, you know what I'm saying? Like, and, you know, people retweeting it and whatever. But for 90% of the posts were men in there saying, F them kids, essentially. Like, basically, they said, F them kids, F the mother, F the man, like, and kudos to the man who left her. Like, this is sick. This is demonic. This is twisted. What is wrong with you that you are celebrating the demise and the destruction of other people? Something is wrong with you. Something is wrong with you. Them ain't my kids. Yes, they are. We are all in a group project. Everything that everybody does affects everybody. I'm sorry. No one is getting out of here by themselves. Nobody. Right? Like, we are all supporting one another. And this individualistic, like, thinking is the problem in the first place. You think you different. And you're not. But you, to feel better and to feel different and to feel evolved, you have to then dehumanize other people, because your feeling evolved is not real. It's fake. If you have to put someone else down and feel big about yourself, you're not big in the first place. And you know that. And you know that. Like, who are you convincing? So anyway, I wrote down the definitions of empathy, right? Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. Right? So understanding, like the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. Not saying you have to go through the same thing to get it, right? You can be like, you know, someone could lose their job, for example, and you might have a job, but you as a human knows, you as a human know how it feels to lose your job, right? And you can imagine, or maybe that's all you can do is imagine. Maybe you don't have that experience, but you can imagine, oh my gosh, if I lost my job, I'd be stressed out. I'd be worried. Are they going to see me being fired as a, you know, or let go as a negative at the next job I'm applying to? Are people even hiring? How am I going to make the same amount of money? How am I going to pay my bills? Like, that's empathy, right? And being like, dang, like, because I know I would feel like that. I know they're probably feeling like that. Let me try to step in and help them as I can. Let me link them with somebody that I know. Let me, like, empathy, right? Kindness is the quality of being friendly, generous, and considerate. It is very easy to be cruel, right? To me, it's a very lazy thing to do. And I keep saying lazy, but I don't believe in laziness. But laziness to me has nothing to do with work, right? It has nothing to do with work. Lazy to me is cutting corners. Lazy to me is like doing things that harm other people. So you benefit the most from it, but other people are injured in the process. To me, like, that is lazy. To be cruel, to meet someone's pain, and instead of feeling and being caring and kind, your first thought is to be cruel. Your first thought is to say, oh, well, you know, who did it to you and what did you do to make them do that to you, right? To make the victim the person responsible as opposed to the person who was causing the harm. That is lazy. That is easy. What is harder is to actually put ourselves in the positions of other people, right? And to express concern and care and kindness and to stick with them until they get justice. That's harder. And I feel like that's why victim blaming, there's a lot of reasons why I feel like people victim blame. One of them could be like, oh, you're just like the person that they're blaming, that caused harm, right? You're just like the person, or you are the person who was a victim and who wasn't supported. And so now you're either mad that people are getting support, or you have been taught to not care about people being harmed, right? Because you're like, oh, nobody cared about me, so I guess this is normal, right? Or you are that person. You are the person causing harm, right? But I also think that it is more work, and it takes more effort and consideration and time and energy mentally to be like, what are the systems that put this in place? Why do men think it's appropriate to stand in a line together and pop balloons loudly to remind women that we don't want you? And then when they ask these men what was the reason, some would be like, because she's too strong. Just say you think she's masculine, but you can't say that because you can, but you can't say that because now you're going to be looked at as bad guy. We already know though. Like, it's not a surprise. You feel intimidated by her. She's not masculine. You're intimidated and you feel like you can't measure up to her. You feel like you ain't got it. Right? Anyway. So like this culture has brainwashed us into thinking that unkindness is the way. And I really think it's because of the way that this country and the West was founded in general. I've been sitting with the like England, right? And I'd be like, why has England, such a small little island, taken over so much of the world, right? And they're thinking, like, how do they do this? And in my mind, the only reasoning that I can come up with is that nobody was as evil as them. They call themselves the victors. They say, oh, we won. Like, this is something to be proud of, right? Like, we're being proud of the murder and theft and rape and all these other things. But like, what are we celebrating? Like, we're asking God to bless the USA when USA has been complicit, if not the source of a lot of other countries' trauma and pain, and England included. Like, what are we talking about? Anyway, I go on tangents. But I really believe that England was able to win because nobody could have predicted someone or something or an entity so evil. When I read about the accounts, like reading Howard Zinn's A People's History of the United States, right? And you read the accounts and they talk about how kind people were to white men, like indigenous folks here, right? Were kind to white men. They were generous to white men. White men saw them being kind and considerate and sharing things together and saw that as weakness. And so because they saw their kindness that they benefited from, by the way, they didn't die from, right? Like their lives were saved from their kindness. So to meet their kindness, they met it with murder and theft and disease, genocide. Where have we gotten to as a society that we think that killing people is normal and okay at all? Like, a person doesn't have a soul, that a person doesn't have a family, friends, dreams, aspirations, goals, like that they deserve to die and you don't. Like, what kind of twisted demonic thinking do we have to have that we are celebrating the death of other people? That's wild to me. When I go to DC, some of the DMV area, when I go to DC and I go to like the war memorials, I weep. There's nothing, I feel no pride. I feel no attachment to any joyful feeling. I go to those memorials and I weep. These were not avatars. These were not green men. You know, those toy green men, the army things, like it's from like toy, like it's before Toy Story, but it's in Toy Story. Like, it's like the, whatever. Anyway, the green men. These are real people. Just like you and me, who didn't deserve to die fighting in a war that one had nothing to do with them, right? But like in a war that they used their bodies to suck the life out of other people, and in doing so lost their own. Like, there's something evil and demonic about that. And we're making memorials like we should be proud. So because our whole country's foundation is theft and violence, right? Because that's the foundation of the West, period. The conquering of everything else from the West is with violence and lies and deception and theft. And we're celebrating it. And we've been brainwashed into thinking that is success. That means you're the big guy on campus. No, you're actually very small. Being cruel to people is not a flex. It's not cute. It's not attractive. It's not like, it's childish. A kid can throw a temper tantrum and throw blocks around the room. You're no different than a toddler. Like, literally, you're no different than a toddler. Right? Like, being mean and selfish is easy. Like, and the thing is, like, we know, like, people who are kind or try to be kind, right? Like, because I have my days where I'm just not feeling it. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, like, I try my best to be kind and considerate. But I also know that it is a risk. Being kind and considerate is a risk because everybody ain't kind and considerate, right? You risk being taken advantage of. You risk being a target. You risk not having things that you need because you've been kind to other people, right? And so because of that risk, a lot of people shut down and say, I'm not going to do that no more. I'm still deciding to be kind, even, and be disappointed at the same time. Just because I'm disappointed don't mean I have to stop being kind, because what is me stop being kind going to do anything to benefit anything? Not even myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would then have to get down to their level, as in like dehumanizing other people in order to feel good about myself. No, I'm not doing that. Like, in order to feel good about dehumanizing somebody else, I have to see myself as above them, or I have to see them as below me, right? And I'm not willing to dehumanize myself in that way. So yes, there is a risk. There is a risk with being kind. Just like with anything, there's a risk. With everything, good or bad, there is a risk. I'm willing to risk it to be kind. I'm willing. Like, I think that's a risk that I'm willing to take. I'm not willing, though, to tear down other people. I'm not willing to destroy other people to make myself feel good, because it don't feel good to me. It's just not something I enjoy. I'm just not one of those girls. And that's the thing. Like, I think that, you know, everything has its time and place. Like I said, playing the dozens, joning on each other, like, that's a Black cultural thing. It's love, right? But there are instances where people are being dragged for having a different opinion. There are instances where people are being dragged for misspelling something or misspeaking. Like, we find little things to tear people apart with. And it's like, and it really speaks to what's missing in here. That ain't got nothing to do with the people who are making themselves brave. You know what I'm saying? By sharing their truth and their thoughts. There are people, again, being on the internet, it's beautiful, but it's scary, right? Being on the internet, like, I posted videos, and most of my videos, like, I just want the best for people. I've had people leave comments underneath of my videos calling me B words, saying I'm masculine, ain't nobody ever gonna love me, like, all these different things. And I'm like, do you not think that I'm a person with a soul, with feelings? I've been told, like, in a discourse about the woman asking men to mentor other little boys, right? I said something and somebody was like, yeah, she got in her emotions. And I was like, what's wrong with having emotions? Like, you can't shame me because I'm not ashamed of my emotions. You don't know who you're talking to. I'm the queen of feel your feelings, sis, or bro, whoever, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, sibling, feel your feelings. Your feelings are valid, but you're trying to shame people for being human. Yo, we are walking the world with people who are not human. I don't know what's going on. It's really weird. It's a really weird thing to see. And people clap and celebrate people being destroyed. And I'm not talking about people who need to be checked. That's a different conversation. People who need to be checked and gathered, y'all do that, right? People who are causing harm, yes, they need to be held accountable. They need to be held accountable by community. You know what I'm saying? But it seems to me that the people who tend to get the most ridicule and like harm sent their way are people who mean good. It's very interesting. It's very interesting. People hate goodness. It's very interesting to witness, and like you learn about it, especially like in spiritual spaces. Like, you learn about it, but you really see that people are really triggered by kindness. By kindness. Again, the platforms that, you know, talk down on Black women or whatever is very cheap and easy. It's not creative. Boo, get a hobby, right? But like, it's profitable. It's profitable to talk down on Black women. It's profitable not to care about your community. It's profitable to do evil. It's profitable to talk about nothing. It's profitable to dehumanize people, because that is the law of the land, right? Like, this land is founded on violence, so violence will be what makes the most money. Violence will be what gets you the most clicks and the most views. Violence will always be popular, because that's what people buy into in America. They buy into dominating other people. Even sports wise, Sports wise, y'all win sports and will destroy your own town. Why? Because we are brainwashed to be destructive. We are, because of this place. This place is so backwards. I think that we underestimate how evil this place really is. I think we underestimate the West and the West's influences. Like, I think we underestimate how evil those things are. People will ask me questions like, why do you care? Why don't you? Why don't you care? And when people ask me that question, I get it, right? Like, I think it's because they see me caring so much. But the thing is, like, the way to lift my burden is to not tell me not to care. The way to lift the burden of people who do care, who do feel, right, very deeply, is to also care. And to, if you have the power, to help. That's like that sadness you feel, you're supposed to feel. If I see someone unhoused or hungry, I'm supposed to care. I'm supposed to be sad about that thing. I'm supposed to be grieved. I'm supposed to be angry about it. I'm supposed to be. Because that's how change comes, by somebody caring enough, right? And people always say, why do you care? As like this insult, or like if somebody's getting beat up and I say, hey guys, stop beating this person up. Why do you care? Because that's a human being. I know what it feels like to get punched in the face. I know what it feels like to get slapped in the face. I know what it feels like to get jumped. I know what it feels like to be bullied. I know what it feels like to be brutalized. I know what it feels like to be taken advantage of. And I don't wish that on my worst enemy. Like, people say that. I literally, the person who has treated me the worst, I don't want any harm to come to them. And it's not because of anything else than I see them as human, and it sucks and it hurts. What I want them to do is to come to a point where justice, right? Justice is met. What is the word? Justice happens, right? That's what I want. What I want them to do is to feel sorry about what they did and apologetic and like, oh, I didn't mean to hurt you that way. That's what I want. I want reconciliation above all. And sometimes, yes, like, sometimes if you beating somebody up, you have to get beat up. Yeah. Like, both and, right? So I'm leaving room for both. That's my whole point, right? But even that, like, if someone is getting punched in the face because they're jumping somebody, that is protecting the other person, right? That's stepping in for the other person. That's not just like, oh, I want to see someone bleed, so let me go out here and just jump people for fun. That's a different conversation. That in itself could be justice. You feel me? But like, we don't care enough, and that's why we're in the predicament that we're in now. That's why we're all exhausted. That's why we're all tired. That's why we're all underpaid. That's why we're all exploited, right? Like, that's why. Because nobody cares. You thinking you not caring about somebody that you see below you, right, protects you from other people not caring about you. When the truth is that because you don't care about those other people, right, now you have no community. Okay. Now you have no community, right? But because you don't care about those other people, what makes you think that other people are going to care about you? What makes you think that they're going to care about you? Like, if you're ever like, in little things, a tire's flat, I don't know, tire's flat on the road, or you dropped your wallet, or you broke your ankle. Like, are there a lot of evil things out there? Yes. But there's also goodness. And if we are ever in a situation where we need help, like, we would hope that somebody would care enough to stop, to call an ambulance, to return our misplaced things, right? But people have to care. What is not caring protecting you from at all? People think that being callous and uncaring protects them, and it doesn't. It kills you slowly. It kills any feeling, any touch of humanity that you have. It does sometimes suck to feel so deeply, right? Because you can't turn it off. I can't turn it off. But you know what I can do? I can put things in place where I am putting boundaries up to protect myself. Like, I'm not watching that. I'm not engaging in that. I'm not looking up those things. When I see those clips on my timeline, I'm scrolling past, right? I might leave a little comment and to remind Black women, you don't have to do this. You don't have to do this. On that popping the balloon thing, that's why I said, I hate when people are humiliated for entertainment. There's nothing clever nor creative about that. It's barbaric to me. It's nonsensical to me. It's cruel to me. And cruelty is not funny. And like, you could tell the guys on that panel felt big. They popped that balloon. Okay, I'm holding the balloon, right? First of all, the whole concept is trash. But they're holding the balloon. One guy's holding the balloon. And let me get a pen. And say this is like the pen that they're popping the balloon with, right? This man goes, with emphasis, as if to prove a point, as if, one, we care about what he thinks, right? That's the first thing. But like, to pop it with, like, I want her to see me rejecting her. I don't just want her to hear it. I want her to see it and to see the emphasis that I put on it. That is nasty. That is nasty and mean. It's disgusting. It makes me want to spit. It's disgusting. But these men feel big and bad about putting people down. Who would want to date you? Why would anyone in their right, like, and I don't mean right mind as in like, but anybody who is not seeking your approval, why would anyone want to even be in your vicinity? Why would anyone want to be your friend when you get off on the destruction and harm of other people? That's sick. It's sick. I had so many notes. I'm not even like, whatever. I'm just going. Like, the kind people are angry. The kind people are tired. It's just like, what reality am I living in that people are making millions of dollars by disrespecting and degrading other people? Platforms like FNF, I'm not even gonna say their names, platforms like KS, platforms like other, like, these platforms are big because people like to see people hurt. Women specifically. Men will pay money, hundreds of dollars. It's giving psychotic. It's giving something, okay? Men will pay hundreds of dollars to watch other men do what they wish they could do. Humiliate women. Y'all some weirdos, for real. Like, and I don't mean weirdo in the way that I mean it, because I am a weirdo. I mean like, something is wrong. Like, and I mean this with all this. Some people need help, because these are the violent predators in our community. Like, it starts off with like peering in, vicariously living through some sort of like podcaster, right? But then it turns into an actual like action. You don't think those thoughts take root in people's heart and like comes out with words and action? We should all be worried. We should all be hands on deck, all hands on deck. We should all be trying to petition to shut these platforms down. And they'll be, oh, you don't want to hear what men say. No, I don't. I don't want to hear what men say, because what men have been saying has been trash. Hate to break it to y'all. Y'all not saying nothing new that we ain't never heard before. Y'all not saying anything that's building up anybody. Maybe it's time for y'all to be quiet and listen and learn. Because men will tell me, and this is like a totally different conversation. We might have, whatever. Men will be, oh, look at all the things that men made. Like, you all say that men are bad, but look, like, the world you're living in is trash. What? And also, y'all disrespected the world. You raped the world. You stole from the world. You murdered the world. You don't think people are part of the world? You don't think people are nature? You think Mother Nature is pleased with you? You think the God that you claim is pleased with you? Be for real. Be so for real. You are a God unto yourself, and you sacrifice the bodies, the reputation, the sanctity of woman to feel big and good about yourself. You are not good and big. And then the good guys, whatever. That's a whole nother conversation. That's not even what I meant to focus on, but being kind is going to cost you. It is. Everybody always says, well, what's in it for me? What's in it for me? Nothing. That's not the point. The point of being kind is not to have a transactional relationship. The point of being kind is because you're a kind person, because you want goodness for everybody, and you see yourself as a participant in this global experiment, right? That is the world, right? You see yourself as a participant. And it's up to you to decide what character you want. It's almost like playing a video game when you choose the character. Like, who is the character I want to be? Do I want to be, and this is me trying to be the character, whatever. But like, do I want to be the hero? Do I want to be the caring person? Do I want to be the soft place? Do I want to actually make change in this world? Or do I want to benefit from a system that requires me to harm, consume, hurt other people to get ahead? It's up to you. And I will tell you, if you're looking to get rich, being kind, like, I'm gonna be honest, if you're looking to be liked, if you're looking to get rich, if you're looking to be successful in the way that the world defines success, right? Kindness is probably not gonna be the way. Kindness is a slow thing. Kindness is a deep thing. Kindness is slow because you care. So if you're looking for a quick thing, I'm gonna be honest with you. Being kind is probably, you can be quickness with kindness, right? Like, but kindness is slow because it's an idea that a lot of people don't buy into. You will be alone a lot. You will stand alone in your opinions a lot, in your views a lot. And you have to be comfortable with being alone. Because even when I stand alone, I know that I'm right. And I like being liked, like everybody else. And sometimes it costs me friends, because I'm not going to be the friend that you're going to call me to gossip and tear down people with. I'm not that person. I will share my thoughts and, you know, if something is happening, right? But I'm not that friend. I'm not that friend that feels good about cussing. Like, I'm not cussing people out and telling people that they ain't nothing and they trash or whatever. Like, that doesn't bring me joy. That actually makes me sad. Like, there have been times where I have come out of character because I've been so angry, and I become grieved because I'm like, that's not even who I am, right? And even though this person, this is my thinking, even though this person has harmed me, and I don't mean physically, right? I mean like saying something bad about me, whatever, right? What I know is that this person is broken in some way, right? That's what I know. I know that a lot of times it has nothing to do with me, actually. I know that, right? And so kindness for me sometimes is shutting down the conversation, walking away, because I could say something that you're not really ready to hear right now. And I don't mean it in a mean way, right? But I know that because you're not in a place to hear it, I don't need to say it, right? Being kind costs you. Sometimes you bite your tongue and you be in the shower later on like, I should have said X, Y, and Z, and going off. That's kindness might take you there, right? But kindness could also be telling somebody off. Like, it's both. Doesn't mean that you have to dehumanize them, but you can tell them that they got you messed up, that you will never talk to me like that ever again. It doesn't mean being a doormat. That's what I'm trying to say. It means setting boundaries for yourself, but also leaving people with their humanity. There's no need to dehumanize somebody when you know that you're right. There's no need. There's no need to dehumanize somebody when you know that you're right. You know what I'm saying? Selfishness and unkindness is not going to help us. Individualism is not going to help us. Humanity will. Kindness will. Love will. Like, being cruel and unkind got us where we are today, and I'm tired of it, okay? Capitalism, W supremacy, y'all know what I'm trying to say? All the harm, all the injustices, where has that gotten any of us? Like, let's be for real. Why do we want to look like the people who oppress us? Why do we want so badly to be accepted by awful people and awful systems? Why can't we create a different system of kindness? Like, and even with my content, like, I've been thinking about going down a path talking about kindness, and just love in general. Like, I feel like people have forgotten how to be loving. People have forgotten how to be kind. And I know a lot of, by the way, I know a lot of kind and generous people online. So shout out to all of you all. Like, I see y'all, okay? Because y'all are doing a daggone thing. Y'all are helping me. You know what I mean? But sadly, it seems like we are the minority. The women that I follow, the people that I follow, mostly women. The women that I follow are women who are trying to set women free, who are trying to help women remind themselves to love themselves, right? Who are trying to help them move out the country, who are trying to help them start a business, who are trying to help them to get involved in the stock market and all these different things, and to have financial literacy and to be creative and to come home to themselves and to see some world and learn about culture and put themselves first in a world where we always put ourselves last. Like, that is kindness. Like, yeah, sure, they have businesses around this, but like, that's not what most people are looking for. You feel me? Like, that is a kind offering. That is something I'm definitely willing to pay, right? Like, because yes, more of this. There are too many businesses, too many platforms that feed off of the destruction of other people. We need kindness. But yes, being kind, like I said, is going to cost you. I wrote down a couple of reasons. People will think you're weak, and they do, because you're sensitive or emotional or whatever. People will think that you're weak, right? It could make you a target, like I said, an easy target. You may care more in relationships. That's something I had to come to terms with. I'm a very expressive person. Everybody's not like that. And that's fine, right? And they can still love me. And some people that I'm in a relationship with, they're not necessarily unkind to me, but they can be unkind to other people. And so, like, sometimes with some people, because they want to protect themselves because of things that they've been through, they might not be as kind to me as I am to them. And it's not saying they are unkind. I want to make that clear. It's not talking about unkindness. They love me. The care is there, right? And they love me through action. But sometimes I do care more. I'm a caring person. This whole like, oh, who cares less? I'm going to lose, okay? Because I care. One thing Alecia going to do is care. I care about everything. I care about everything. I do. I care about everything. Individualism feels good to the ego, but not the soul. It never satisfies. That's why you always have to keep being mean. It's never satisfying to be mean, because you have to keep doing it, and you have to keep doing it to numb yourself to being mean, like being a mean-spirited person is practice. It's the outcome of practice, of numbing yourself to the grief that you feel, or the regret. Numbing yourself to the regret that you feel about dehumanizing somebody else. Having to practice dehumanizing other people to be mean and cruel to them, right? But it feels good to the ego for a moment, but it never satisfies. It never satisfies. Your blood pressure is high, you're mad, you're rehearsing that conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I like to walk away from conversations, even if they're arguments, knowing that I did everything I could to leave people with their humanity and their dignity. Like, we might disagree heavily, okay? Like, but my goal is to leave people with their humanity, even if it is telling them the truth about themselves. You're not a very nice person. You're not being a very nice person to me. You're not being considerate. You can call a thing and still leave people with their humanity. You don't have to call people out their name or nothing like that. You can make judgments. That still is kindness, because you could just cuss them out and walk away. But instead, I'm gonna leave you with this, like, yo, next time, hopefully this is not a next time, but don't talk to me like that. It's unacceptable. You're better than this. Use your words, right? Like, so yes, what do I get in return? Sometimes nothing. Hate to break it to you like that, but I'm happy to break it to you like that. Like, sometimes in exchange for your kindness, you get nothing. But you get the satisfaction. I know for some people that's not enough, but you get the satisfaction that you did something that somebody might remember for the rest of their life. We remember people who are kind to us. I remember one time my car broke down I was going to Baltimore, and it broke down, and my engine caught on fire because oil had like leaked out of my engine, and it was a mess. Anyway, so my engine was on fire. I'm running down the street, and this gentleman pulled over, and he owned a tow company, and he towed me to the nearest Pet Boys. He didn't have to do that. But I will always remember that man, because that man is an angel to me. I was broke. I did not have no money. I was riding on a donut on my way to school trying to get this degree. And this man came through and helped me. I will remember him forever. And I don't know. I didn't have anything to offer him except for a thank you. I literally was broke, right? But like, I hope that he still thinks about that interaction. I hope that he still knows that he blessed me. Well, I feel like I'm going to cry. Like that, right? That is the gift. And because of his kindness to me, I'm able to pay it forward to other people. Because he didn't charge me an arm and a leg, it didn't break the bank, right? I was able to be helpful to other people, right? In ways that I wasn't like broke. And hopefully when people are kind to you, it encourages you, right? Inspires you. That's the word I'm looking for. It should inspire you to pass that forward. I cannot pay back everybody that was kind to me. I can't. You can't either. We're always looking for something in exchange. I can't pay back all the people who's been kind to me. I can't. What I can do is pay it forward. What I can do is like, that person being kind to me gave me more capacity to be kind to other people, right? Like, when you experience kindness from somebody, it helps you breathe. Oh, I feel like I'm gonna cry. It helps you breathe. It makes you feel like somebody sees you. Like, you're not out here by yourself. It relaxes you just a little bit. And with that capacity, with that room that it creates, you are now capable of helping other people in ways that you can, right? Like, I don't have a tow truck, right? But like, I do have time. I do have music, right? I do have this, you know what I'm saying? Like my phone. I do have something that I can do to try to spread love and kindness because of what was deposited into me. People have been very cruel to me, but people have also been very kind. People have been very kind for nothing. not looking for anything from me, because we all know what it feels like when somebody's doing something that is helpful but is asking you for repayment on something, and you know that you can never repay it. We know what that feels like, and you just feel like, I don't even want to accept the help because I can't pay you back. You know what I mean? Like, but when you have somebody who does something for you just because they want to and they have it to, like, it restores my hope. It makes me feel less alone. Like, okay, there are people out there. Like, the world isn't so scary. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are people who care. Because the negativity, the unkindness can be so loud. It can be so loud and overwhelming. And even when you're trying to curate your feed or whatever it is to only suggest kind and positive things, negative stuff slips in there and it just sucks the life out of you. Like, my God, how many times y'all black men gonna tell us you don't like black women? We get it and we don't care. Move on. Why do you need us to care? Move on, because you want to see black women hurt. And that's one thing that I said in that thread on Twitter. It's obvious that some men enjoy feasting on the pain and the tears and the sorrow of children and women. And that is scary to me. That's scary to me. Demonic is not the word. Unhuman is not the word. Like, again, the English language limits me so much, because what I'm feeling is not just disgust and like fear. It's like disgusting, nasty, whatever. There's something wrong with someone who enjoys seeing other people and not just seeing it, right? Not just watching, celebrates it. Like, I told somebody in the comments, I was like, this is giving very much like, oh, I'm taking revenge out on all women because the women that I wanted didn't want me. It's giving high school antics. Not even high school, middle school. Grow up. Okay, people are not gonna like you. Move on. You know what I'm saying? Like, but no, they have to create memorials, like the war memorial. You got to create a whole platform around censoring beating up women. You're a weirdo. It's the same thing. Their platforms are memorials to the wars they fought, or not even, it's not even war, right? Like, some of these memorials are not even war memorials. They're just like, oh, all the times that America attacked this place. Like, that's all it is. Like, they feel good. Like, look, I got another one. Ooh, I clowned another woman. Look at these thumbnails they be posting. Like, oh, I owned her. Oh, shut her down. Destroy. Like, it's giving little boys with like toy Tonka cars. Grow up. These are real people. These are real human beings. But the sad part is a lot of these men don't see women as human beings. They only see them as vessels to use and to own and to destroy. They feel entitled to women. Yeah. So I say, yeah, people really enjoy the harm of others. They're cannibals, feasting on their pain and tears, and it's really evil. So I want to thank you for being kind. If you're watching this, you might be kind or not. I might get some unkind comments. That's not the point. Whatever, delete. But like, I want to thank you for being kind. I want to thank you for restoring hope in people. I want you to, like, even when I'm kind to people, it makes me sad, but I get it. When I'm complimenting somebody, especially like if it's a black woman, I'm like, oh my God, you're so pretty. Or, oh my God, I love your shoes, or whatever it is. Like, oh, you have a beautiful smile. You're gorgeous. Like, and you see them register like what's happening, because a lot of black women, a lot of people in general are on guard all the time, because we know this world can be scary and harmful and painful, right? But I love being able to, in the best way possible, right, jar another black woman and be like, oh, thanks. Like, I love that. Like, I love that. Like, yes, like, even for a moment, you can disarm and you can feel good about yourself. Like, that's kindness. I just want to thank you for your kindness. Like, people watching, commenting, leaving likes, sharing with other people, like, just being kind in general has, like, been so helpful to me as someone, again, who struggles with depression and all these other things. And sometimes the thoughts can get very, like, despair-like. Like, oh God, what's the point? You know what I mean? And people's kindness radiates. Like, your kindness radiates. Your kindness changes my life. Like, your kindness changes the lives of other people around you. And we need that in such a dark world, in a dark time. Like, I don't know when times have not been dark, to be quite honest with you, but like, in a very dark time, we need more kindness. we need more love and more grace. And so one of the things that I feel like I'm going to be doing is creating something, right, that are challenging people to be kind. Just kind to themselves, kind to each other. Like, it don't have to be nothing big. It don't have to be a show. Like, because we're not doing it for show. That's not the point. The point is just to be kind because it feels good to do so. The point is to be kind because we can always use more kindness, right? To be kind because we care about our fellow man. You know what I'm saying? And being kind is not a weakness. Being kind is not a weakness. Being kind is one of the bravest things that you can do. Being kind is one of the strongest things that you can do, right? It takes great strength and care and self-control to be caring. It takes intellect to be compassionate and to put yourself in the shoes of other people. It takes critical thinking skills and considering things from different angles and different opinions and like different backgrounds. Like, it takes nothing to join in the circus, to be cruel to other people, to be a man standing on that platform popping balloons to break a woman's self-esteem and confidence. It costs nothing. That is so pathetic to me. It's so pathetic. Pathetic. It is so weak. It's so unoriginal and uninspired. It's groupthink, right? Like, and it really shows that these men care more about what their fellow man thinks about them than the actual woman they're trying to court, which is like, what? Like, what is the point? Y'all could have just hung out for that. Y'all could have just shot hoops for bonding, right? But no, we got to bond over the obliteration of somebody's self-esteem and self-confidence. But being kind is not weakness. It takes bravery and skill. And kind and compassionate people are the change makers in the earth. They are. If you're kind, or you try to be kind, you try your best to be considerate, right, and thoughtful, you are the change makers. A lot of the people that I was listing in my head earlier, Level Up Single Mom, Stephanie Perry, Erica De Niro TV, and if I don't say your name, please forgive me. I'm just listing out examples. Marissa Price, Child Free with Mimi, Let's Talk About It with Mara, Pick a Girl Travels the World, Rashida Dow, so like From Lack to Legacy. Like, there's so many people. Big up yourself. And I'm just growing. Like, the joy is spreading. Yvette Boone, even her talking about plants, like, dope women. Okay, dope Black women who are all about being kind to other Black women. Like, that's how you change the world. But even on a I don't want to say like bigger level, but like, you know, and again, like, I'm thinking about other people, Lotus Flower, love her. Like, again, I'm sorry, again, if I can't, Deanne Matthews, oh my gosh, Confidence with Love. Like, all these women are very passionate people who care about women, who care about each other, who are compassionate. And they might give you the truth with a little bit of, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I love that, because we need kindness in all flavors and shapes and sizes and you know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about like their physical appearance. I'm talking about like the way that they show up and take up space, right? Like, I love that. And all of that is kind. All of that is generous. All of it. You know what I'm saying? I have more channels in my mind, but I need to do a separate video about that, like listing all the people that I think would be dope for y'all to check out because they're dope. Yes, A.O. Hamer, an artist. I love her also. But anyway, okay, so coming back. So being kind is not a weakness. It takes strength, right? And people who are kind and considerate are the change makers in the earth. The people who are starting nonprofits, the people who, like Stephanie Perry, thank you so much to everybody also who is donating to that sabbatical fund so that I can take a sabbatical. Like, that's kindness. She don't have to do that. She doesn't, but like, she wants to. And so I appreciate that, right? People who start the movements, the activists, the artists, the writers, right? The people who are brave enough to take a stand against things that are wrong. Because when you're a brave person taking a stand against what is wrong, you finna get beat up. You already know. Like, if you're the one person speaking out against something that is wrong, people don't like to be inconvenienced. And so they will beat you up to stay in a place of being convenienced. You feel me? So like, people who are brave enough to speak out and to be like, forget it. Nope, that's wrong. And there's something in us that I'm thankful for those people, because sometimes those people give words to things that I don't have words to, and they're brave in places that I'm not brave enough to speak up about. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is kindness. Somebody has to care. That's the whole point. Somebody has to care. When we got to the end of the thread about the woman asking men to step in and mentor their little boys, I said to her, I'm really sorry that your request, your kind request, by the way, and thoughtful request, is being met with vitriol and like mean men, like just just so aggressive for no reason. Mean men, I said, but like, thank you for caring. Thank you for caring. And I was like, and sadly, a lot of women have had to step in where men have not shown up, and it's not fair, and it's not right, and it's not ideal, right? But like, somebody has to care. Somebody has to care. Everybody can't not care. If everybody didn't care, this whole world will be on fire. Because humans don't know enough. Humans don't know when to say stop. They just keep consuming and keep harming people because they're not human. They're not in their bodies. Like they're like, it's like they've been possessed, and not in like in a super spiritual way, but like there's something in you that has taken root and is rooted so deeply that you think harm and violence is the way, right? But somebody has to care. So why not you? Why not you? Kindness starts in small steps and it ripples without. So again, smiling at somebody, acknowledging their presence, saying thank you so much to a person that you're doing a business deal with, right? You're going to get food, thank them, like tip them. Like these kind of kind things ripple out. So when you see someone drop something, hand it to them. Or, you know, if you see someone wearing a cute outfit, hello, like being kind is risky. People might cuss you out. People might not say thank you, right? People might have an attitude, but that's not my job. My job is not to do something to get something in return. My job is to do something because I know it's the right thing to do. That's it. There are a lot of instances where I've had people at, you know, getting something to eat, and I could tell my server or, you know, the person serving me food has an attitude. I don't have to have an attitude back with them. They're probably underpaid. They got them out here in the cold, right? Like their attitude is not with me. I'm just another customer who is coming to bother them. What I can do is soften and understand. Not saying that I have to, you know, take harsh treatment, but if I'm gonna be kind to you. Oh, how are you doing today? Really checking in with them, being human with people, reminding them of their humanity, empathizing with them. Like there's so many waitresses that come to me and be like, you know, my boss is getting on my nerves. Like, I heard that. I used to serve too, and I get it. It's annoying. Or like waitresses who are stressed out because they think I'm a cuss them out because they got my order wrong. And I'm like, it's okay. Mistakes happen. It's really not that big of a deal. I'm not dying of hunger. It's not that serious. I don't have any food allergies. It's fine. It's fine. That goes a long way. You see that their shoulders kind of relax. You see them like, okay, cool. I'm not finna get cussed out. Yes, like, because I'm not the center of the universe. We're here together. I'm here to receive a service that you're generous enough to be able to serve me. Like, what a gift that I don't have to cook my own food, that somebody is back there cooking my food and you're going to bring it out to me and my drinks and my refills and napkins and whatever else I need. And all I got to do is get up and go to the bathroom and pay. What a wonderful thing. What a wonderful experience. Why can't I be kind? Right? The whole point of this is like our kindness is impactful. The world is a very cruel place, but it's also a very beautiful place filled with beautiful people like you, who can be kind and share that beauty with the world. I'm looking over my notes to make sure I ain't got nothing left to say. Kindness is not weakness. I just want to reiterate that. Like, we know that kindness is risky. Often you stand alone and it can be scary and lonely, but we need people to be kind. We need more kindness. I don't know. Selfishness and harm is not going to save us, y'all. And also stop watching stuff where people are being humiliated. Like, by watching, you're paying them. You're paying them with your attention. You're watching them destroy other people. They're making money. They're making a living. But I'm not trying to guilt y'all, because some stuff you just be like, what? Like sometimes I be like, how did I get here? Why am I watching this? Right? Because you get curious, right? But think about it before what are you supporting and why? You know what I'm saying? There are people out here trying to do some beautiful work, and we out here watching videos of people popping balloons to break down a black woman's confidence. I don't know, y'all. That's all I want to say. We have an empathy and a kindness problem. People are choosing not to be empathetic. People are choosing to be unkind. And we need to do better. Just is what it is. So more things are going to be coming about kindness and stuff like that, just because, like, let's get back to basics. Please and thank you. You know what I'm saying? Like, not feeling entitled to, like, just treating people like they're human. I don't know if that can be taught or not, but I'm going to be talking about it because my heart is grieved. I'm grieved. And it makes me want to retreat and not do nothing, say nothing. Like, How many times I gotta be called a B word for saying lovely things about Black women? And I'm a human being that wears on me. Like, people really sit behind avatars being cruel because, again, they think we're playing a video game. They think that this is like Donkey Kong or something. They think this is like, these don't have real life consequences. It's people who never grew up. This is not playground, and even back then was awful. Like, playground bullying was awful, right? Like, as somebody who was bullied, was awful. Was very real for me. Like, this is not play. These are people's lives. This is their humanity. This is a beautiful work of art created by God. Like, handcrafted by God, or whatever you believe. Some intelligent being beyond you. Right? Like, this is somebody's, like, and we always say, like, this is somebody's child. We shouldn't have to even say that. That's a person. Unattached from anybody. That person is still holy. That person is still sacred. That person is still valuable. Doesn't matter who their parents are. Doesn't matter that they have kids. Doesn't matter if they're married. That's a human being. A holy, sacred human being. A miracle. A walking miracle. And y'all spit in people's faces all day long. You spit in the face of God. We're laughing at people destroying and spitting in the face of God. Like, that's how serious it is for me. Like, God took God's time creating this person for you to be calling that person a B word. For you to tell that person they don't matter. Wow. The measure of our words, the weight of our words. But that's all I'm gonna say for now. I've been talking for about an hour, but be kind. Be kind, rewind. No, but be kind. Be loving. And I'm sending all my love to the kind people out there, or people who want to be kind but are afraid, or who are upset and angry. You're allowed to be angry, and you're allowed to be distrusting. You know what I mean? But I want kindness for everyone. That's my hope. In a perfect world, everybody would be loved, everybody would be cared for, and everybody would be kind. You know, so I can't change the world, but I can change myself, and I can do what I can do. And I just ask that if you have the capacity, if you have the time, to consider, what is a kind and loving thing that I can do? Whether period or instead, you know? So I love you. I'll see you. I'll talk to you soon. Later.